Another horizontal day, day 21, and it's a fasting day because there's full moon in about an hour. So, as of recently, I fast on new moons and full moons for 24 hours, and but also um, for the eclipses for 48 hours. So I'll soon be able to eat, but in a couple of hours maybe. Um, so I'm feeling weak and irritable, and but usually good because it's like physically I feel good, but I'm emotionally irritable because I want to eat. And also there's that bit of weakness, possibly more psychological than real, hence the lying down. Okay, so I think this will be a brief one because, well, I never know. But one thing I was going to talk about today is societal expectations and norms or behavior. And I wish I actually wrote it down yesterday, so it's like a word for word quote. But it's anyway, it'll still do. So basically, we were watching Seinfeld, which is American comedians for anyone who doesn't know and is watching this, meaning me now. And it's kind of like my generation. Actually, no, he's a bit older, so it's old school or old whatever. But yeah, we love him, and he's just so anyway. It was just this old famous Seinfeld series, and the one we watched yesterday was in with Kramer, one of the characters in there, uh, having a go at Seinfeld because, or Jerry as it's known, as its first name is, for not following the rules of, like, acceptable behavior and the sort of rules of engagement, rules of conduct, and social etiquette, basically. And it was basically kind of like this guy gave Jerry free tickets for a game, and but Jerry didn't thank him afterwards. He thanked him obviously, as he received them, but not afterwards. And then Kramer was saying, "Well, you wild one, you don't, these are." So that's the quote I'm trying to kind of do its justice. Basically, without the rules, we would be just wild animals, and the society rests on these rules, and society, we are all part of. And then he asks him, well, do you not want to be part of the society, Jerry? And it's along those lines. And I just thought, there are two things here so important, but we just wrap them all up and we just do one instead of making that distinction, that there are two things that are important to remember. So on one hand, absolutely, we are part of a greater fabric and society, and we do depend on each other, but we depend on each other's sort of decency and just plain kindness and not active meanness and nastiness. And yet, as I'm sure anyone would agree, there's plenty of example of exactly that. So, absolutely lovely, necessary, and I'm all for it, for those politenesses and those kind of etiquettes. And but oh, in some. So that one, for instance. So that's the first bit. There is a bare minimum that's just decency, and it's just, it's common courtesy, which is to appreciate someone and express that, or appreciate a gift and express it, like the gift of free tickets. But then to follow up with a call of thanking again, I also, like Jerry was saying, I'm just, tyranny of something, is tyranny of social norms or something, which is exactly the kind of, or that's maybe my language, maybe that wasn't his language. But my point is, I'm with him there, and so that would have been that excessive step to just stroke some people's egos. If you gave a free ticket and people thanked you, and Jerry thanked him, that's enough. Anything else is just really milking it, and kind of, it's not free anymore. There's an unspoken price to it, which is too expensive, basically. So, but if we were just to kind of keep it lean and not get, bloated, without self-importance and self-righteousness. For instance, in this storyline, that thank you first time around, which is where it's most appropriate, it would have been enough. And Jerry's right not to play along the rest of the rules. And as a consequence, he doesn't get the second lot of tickets because he will refuse, or he eventually cave into Kramer and does call the guy and thanked him about yesterday's or last set of tickets. And then the guy goes, oh, if you called me earlier, I would have given you the other, another set of tickets, which is what Kramer essentially wanted. So this is the second piece. There is all this, give me this so I can get this. I'll give you this, but I want this in return. But no one's actually declaring openly and upfront those terms and conditions of that contract, the social contract, and it's all becomes passive aggressive and like I say, unnecessary. So and it piles up and it creates just like toxic relationships and dependencies where there's no need for them. So then people like Jerry in this storyline, or me here and now, She Maverick, I am livid at these because there are so many that have been left neglected and no one stopped and went on a kind of law level, legal level, like reordering the society. Again, I know I'm going a bit too big and wide, but still. So the second piece is this piece that is just we took it too far, and then that's where all the nasty, rotten, sticky, like I say, passive aggressive, manipulative, downright bad, just like wrong, not evil, but well, that may be as well sometimes, but just awful relationships and dynamics are supported with this acceptance of just all these add-ons, like in the addendum, in the appendix of the contract, that no one really ever looks at, but sneakily can come, or the small print just starts seeping into your life and creating these like blah, social contracts that are unnecessary. That's my point. So when people like Jerry and myself and She Maverick we have a go at society and the way relationships are done, and it's not because we are anarchists, at least certainly me not. I absolutely need and want and think it's absolutely necessary and healthy and right to have all those, not all those, some decency etiquettes and absolutely of kind of showing appreciation for each other. But when it goes that one, and it's such a fine line, and it just becomes this bloated, awful, blah, obese kind of society we live in. Obese, morally obese, not as in individuals that are overweight like myself. I don't know if I'm obese yet. That's another video for another day. And I'm therefore looking forward to my food in a couple of hours. So, yeah. See you on day 22 tomorrow.